Bills and Jets. Now we had some news. We have a interim coach coming in for the New York Jets. We had some complications after this past week's loss in the Tottenham Stadium for the Jets. So Mr. Robert Saleh went to go put his key card against the door. It wasn't working, Scotty. It wasn't working. They told him, you know what? We're gonna let you go. We're gonna get you out of here.
They escorted him out before he could even talk to the team.
Before he could address the team.
Did him dirty.
It wasn't great.
How was your flight back from London? Good? Oh. Get in here.
It wasn't great for him. But that being said, the Bills are visiting the New York Jets, and Buffalo, 2.5-point favorites on the road against the Jets. Buffalo Bills have been kind of all over the map. They're 3-2, and they're still leading the division as of right now, but losses back-to-back weeks against the Ravens and the Texans got them a little shaky. But here is a get-right spot. If there is any, maybe. We'll see. There's the Jets. Also, Scotty, we always know this. After you fire your head coach, there's kind of like a exhale of in performance. Exactly. So
usually it doesn't come after like 5 weeks, though. To be fair, like
yes. So placebo effect. Total set at 41. Money line Buffalo -142. New York Jets +120 in this one. But yeah, Scotty, are we gonna get a Jets team that's actually gonna show up after their coach is fired?
Chris, I'm glad you mentioned the whole coaching thing, and there's usually an uptick that next week in performance, maybe even a week or two before it kind of fades. But I have no idea how to feel about this game. I think I bet on Buffalo the last 2 weeks, and they burned me. They've looked bad, very, very bad on offense the last 2 weeks, and especially last week where Josh Allen was like 7 for 30 at one point in the game or something. Jets have looked bad on offense all year, and ironically, Chris, literally everything when I'm reading people being like, "Oh, what did he lose his job for?" It literally went back to the Broncos game. They're like, "That's an unforgivable loss. You can't lose that game in that situation," and that's why he lost his job, is losing to your Broncos. Apparently, losing to the Broncos is a fireable offense, which to me checks out.
The juggernaut they ran into, yeah, sure.
Yeah. Look up the word juggernaut. So I honestly don't have a great feel, and I can't bet this game. Do the Jets come out fiery? Do they come out shitty like they've been? Sauce got, beat up in the last game. The Bills are struggling offensively. Both these teams right now feel a little lost. And I don't know who's going to show up on Monday night. So I'm staying away from betting wise. And literally, I have no idea. Usually I can feel out at least what I think is going to happen in a game. This one, I have no clue.
Yeah, and this is
it could be 0-0 going to the fourth, Chris. I don't know.
Yeah, it's a weird one. So there's a lot of stats around about division dogs at home. How that plays out, and typically in the grand scheme of things, division dogs at home early on, around October time, is they're pretty solid to back in most cases. This one, I would say, if I had to lean at anything, the Jets probably would be. I don't have this as my best bet, but there's been a lot of people who I've heard and kind of when researching this game, have said Jets +2.5 is where it's at. And I just can't pull the trigger on that. I can't do it. It's too gross. Money is split on this one, but the public is mainly on the Buffalo Bills. 77% of the public is on the Buffalo Bills in this game against the spread -2.5. But the money is dead even, 49 to 51% on both of these. What's up, Broncos? Avs score. Let's go. Let's go.
And then like 20 seconds later, they gave up a extremely soft goal, which you don't want to see from Georgie. Georgie just gave up an incredibly soft goal right after it. So fun times. Let's start watching hockey again. Hockey drives me nuts. The best team doesn't always win. Not even close. It's just how good's your goalie playing that day. And ours never plays great.
Just never shows up when you need him to.
Maybe we should get a good goalie.
Maybe that should be
but good goalies turn into bad goalies all the time, and bad goalies turn into good goalies. It's like a relief pitcher. You literally from year to year don't know what you're getting.
Yeah, it's goaltending here has been spotty at best in Colorado. But yeah, if I had to lean in this one, I would lean against the spread plus 2.5 for the Jets. Leaving it alone, though, I think this could be a somewhat close game based off of the upswing of a new coach, fresh ideas. But is Nathaniel Hackett coming in and doing this? Is he the one that's coming in to?
No.
It's a Jeff Ulbrich.
It's their
Good.
DC.
Good. Then I otherwise,
I mean, reports are there are rumors that Robert was ready to fire Hackett, and that's when Rodgers got word of that and went to Woody, the owner, and was like, "We gotta get rid of him before he fires my guy, who's dog shit as a coach."
Yeah,
What happens to Nathaniel Hackett when Rodgers inevitably retires?
Oh,
he
just
gets
go
fired.
live in a cave? Does he live in a no? I know he's not gonna have an NFL job. But
No.
does he just live in a cave? Is he homeless? Does he live in a cave? What happens to him?
He goes into the dark place that Aaron Rodgers went to reevaluate his life and understand what he would like to do next. That's pretty much all he really has. So
and he decides drugs are next.
Yeah, he might.
Got it.
Maybe it'll give him the performance enhancing he needs to call plays in the NFL.
Wasn't speaking to performance enhancing, but sure.
Yeah. So Jets, this game, I could see this being like I don't know, like a 17-20 game or something. I don't know. This is it. But anyways, Jets, Aaron Rodgers, now he gets to relax.
I mean, this is a extremely important game for the Jets and Buffalo, really, but like probably slightly more to the Jets. So you can't lose at home against your division rival that you're trying to compete in the division with and hope to compete. And you move to 2-4, they get to 4-2, it'd be done for you. It'd be done.
Yeah. Not great. So Bills got to get that dub. We all know that the Jets are probably not it, right? Aaron Rodgers, this team, as we kind of like the names on this team. There's like a lot of young talent. Sauce Gardner, Garrett Wilson, Aaron Rod. I mean, you got the names. They just can't do anything with those names. It's a mess. I think the locker room is fragmented too.
It's bizarre how much Rodgers loves Hackett, and he's put up shit stats with Hackett this year. Like he's looked like dog shit outside of one Thursday night against maybe the worst team in the NFL, the Patriots. Like, congratulations. So
Yeah.
I don't
The
know
Patriots are
why
making
he's so protective.
Patriots are making their own dumb decisions too.
They're ass.
What, Drake May?
Yeah.
Uh,
The dude is going to die behind that offensive line.
maybe, but just I don't know.
What do you have to
I don't know what the
lose?
right call is there.
What do you have to lose? Like, either way, it's
Your future quarterback. That's what you have to lose.
is Drake May the future quarterback? Is he the guy?
They hope so. They drafted him 3rd overall.
We'll find out. Let's move on. Bengals visiting the Giants. Scotty, this one is an interesting one as well. The Bengals -3.5, so 3.5-point favorites on the road in New York. Total set at 49. Cincinnati minus 170 on the money line. That means you have to bet 170 to win 100. New York Giants plus 142. Bet 100 to win 142. So this one, Scotty, is a game that both of us feel fairly strongly about. Strong enough to where we have this as one of our best bets. Go ahead. Tell them why you love it, Scotty.
Listen, I think a lot of casuals are looking at this and they're like, the Bengals are 1-4, but they can't possibly keep going down this road. They'll win this game. They'll win it comfortably against a Giants team that's not that good. I said it last week. I bet on the Giants last week. I've been saying they're not as bad as people think. They've been in games. It's not always pretty with Daniel Jones. I get that. You have Malik Neighbors out last week, and they still got that dub in a game that no one thought they would win. Now you're at home. The Bengals are close to, it feels like, imploding, because what you have in Cincinnati is it's no longer a team mentality. It's an offense versus defense mentality. And the offense is playing pretty well. The defense is a dumpster fire. And I've seen teams like that before. And the further that goes on, the more divided you get, the more you can't function as an NFL football team in that regard. If you don't stick up for your teammates, you don't believe in the other side of the ball, and it's divided. And I feel like that's where at 1-4, since he's headed, from the Giants standpoint, 2-3, get back to the level ground this week, maybe against an overconfident, cocky team that just likes to talk but can't back it up. I would imagine nothing official on Malik Neighbors by any stretch of the imagination, but like 2 weeks on a concussion at his age, and like first concussion that I know of his career, would be unusual. So I'd expect him back. The Cincy defense right now might be the worst in the league.
Yep.
I get a home team getting plus 3.5 against maybe the worst defense in the NFL right now. I'm going to take that. And I'm going to take the Giants plus 3.5.
I saw this game and I was on board with it myself. I sent you my picks. This was one that we both loved. And it's Cincinnati. It's just telling you how bad Cincinnati's been, especially, like you said, defensively. They gave up 41 to the Ravens. They gave up 24 to the Panthers. They gave up 38 to the Commanders, 26 to the Chiefs, and they gave up 16. It's weirdly enough to the Patriots, 16-10 loss in the week one, which
they lost to the worst team in
the
NFL.
And so that just tells
it's either
me
the Patriots or Panthers.
Yeah. And here's the thing.
And they played both those teams.
Cincinnati.
And they're 1-4.
Yeah. It's crazy to me. Cincinnati is in a spot where they've been in must-win games for the first 5 weeks of the season, it seems like. How many must-win games? And this is another one. The pressure just is there. They can't stop anybody on defense. This Giants team is surprisingly better than advertised going into the season. Their defense is fine, and their offense has been better than we would have probably expected. That I think this is going to be closer. Getting to 3.5 points, it's a lot at home in a game that I think is going to be probably closer than it should. I don't see the Bengals necessarily with their offense just going as crazy and their defense playing out of their minds all of a sudden. But that being said, I have the Giants with you, Scotty, as my best bet, plus 3.5 at home as one of my best bets of the week. Also, too, you look at the money on this. 86% of the public is on the Bengals, minus 3.5, and then 91% of the money is on the Bengals minus 3.5. That's a lot of money going.
It makes me love this game.
It makes you love it so much more. So
this hits 2 out of 3 times.
Yes. So let's go. New York Giants. We're not always on the New York Giants, but this week it's a little different. Let's go.
I'm gonna keep riding them. Hit last week. Underdogs and outright win against Seattle. Let's go.
That's right. I think also too they're missing. I think they're missing one. Thibodeau is out. I think day to day on the defensive side, but
he hasn't done a ton this year.
Yeah, he hasn't really been super impactful generally, but there you go.
He's a lot of bark with not a lot of bite right now. Yeah, he's out. He had wrist surgery, so he's out week to week, but I don't know that that's a huge loss for them.
Yeah, just get behind the Daniel Jones, Singletary, Neighbors train. That's what we're doing here.
Or as people say in the chat, Wan'Dale Robinson. Let's go.
Yeah. Except for Keep Close. He thinks he's ass.
Name a good player on the Giants. Name one good player. Malik
Dexter
Neighbors.
Lawrence.
Dexter Lawrence is pretty damn good.
I mean,
The tackle.
Devin Singletary is boring and he produces, so I'll take it. By the way,
Name a single good player on Cincy's defense. Actually,
Trey Hendrickson.
Yeah, I was like, actually, I can name one.
just one. All right, so there.
They did also just lose Dax Hill for the season.
Oh no! What will they do to fix? They were so good before that.
Missing out.
McDuggets, Cam Taylor, Brett. Are you baiting me into something there?
Yeah,
That's a joke, right?
Yeah.
Speaking of talk,
that dude gets lit up every week, but he talks like he's the best corner in the game. So,
like, if he didn't talk, people would forget he exists.
Correct. So good for him.
Yeah.
For putting his name out there.
So let's move on to the next one. And this game, in prepping for this show, has given me a migraine thinking about what I'm going to get out of it. The Lions are visiting Detroit. The Lions 3-point favorites on the road in Dallas. Total 52.5. Detroit minus 162 on the money line. Dallas plus 136. Scotty, I look at, I have a few different resources that I, trust with my best bets and kind of how I get my intelligence. Now, I looked at this game.
It's not just straight from you.
So some of it's it's like I got my hunches, and then I get, I combine that with what, my resources are. And everybody, and this was one of my best bets of the week, and I took it off the board. I had the Detroit Lions -3 in this one, thinking everything that Detroit does well and is a strength is the opposite of what Dallas is. Dallas struggles in all of those same categories. And so I was looking at this. Everybody was picking Detroit -3. Everybody. And I had Detroit. I was feeling great about it. I looked at the money coming in on this game. Public money, 63%. It's not overwhelming, but 65% to 63% of the money is on Detroit. So
that's overwhelming in a Cowboys game where a lot of times Cowboys just get poured on money because there's so many fans of the Cowboys.
Yeah. And it's just crazy. I mean, so what Detroit they can exploit here? Cowboys have struggled mightily to stop the run. Lions have been really good against the run, good against teams that can't defend the run with Montgomery, Gibbs. I think they'll have a field day. I think that this is going to be, I don't know. It's just everything screams Detroit, which makes me feel like this is trappy.
It's a trap.
It feels trappy. So I took this off my board, Scotty. It wouldn't surprise me if this clicked up to Detroit -3.5, but I left it off the board.
Yeah, I mean, obviously the Cowboys are going to come in beat up again, especially defensively. Doesn't sound like Micah Parsons will play, and DeMarcus Lawrence is definitely not playing. And then they had another a D tackle go down with a season-ending injury on Sunday night as well. So that D line is beat up. Nealand, remember, because it's ironic.
Yes.
Yeah, so that D line's beat up. Again, you still don't have Deron Bland, so the secondary's not at full strength. There's a lot of missing pieces on that Dallas defense.
Keep in mind, too, also, Detroit, fresh off their bye week, every single player on the roster practiced on Tuesday. Every single one.
Yeah, healthy, coming off a bye week, good time. I don't know that Detroit's played. Detroit feels a little like Houston to me, where they haven't necessarily played up to the expectations, but it's still early, and they're 3-1, and Houston's 4-1. So there's no they've won games, and that's what's most important, right? But I think there's more question marks with Detroit than people realize. Yeah, I'm not touching this game either, Chris. I don't know. I agree with you that there's some matchup issues. I mean, you have a D line that's beat up against maybe the best offensive line in the game on Detroit.
Yeah.
That seems problematic. That seems not ideal, both for the run and pass game. It's a high number at 52.5, so Dak and them boys are going to have to keep up, and I don't know if they can. So, yeah, some of that makes sense on why people are betting that, but I'm not touching it. I don't know. I think the Cowboys are going to have some heart here, and I don't know the Lions are playing as good as people assume they are right now. I think by the end of the year they could definitely get there, but right now, while they're playing okay, they're not playing great football either. So I'm not touching this on a betting side, but this should be one of the best matchups of the weekend and a really fun game to watch.
Detroit 3-1, second in the division behind the undefeated Minnesota Vikings. Dallas 3-2. Despite all their struggles, despite all of the injuries and everything that's gone wrong for them early on in the season, they're still second behind Washington at 4-1 in the division. So a win here puts the Cowboys back into a nice spot here, but it's going to be an uphill battle against a healthy Detroit Lions team coming off a bye. All right. So but I will say, if I did have a bet in this game, it would probably be Detroit -3. Just for that reason. All right, let's get to the next game of the week. And we have Chargers and Broncos. Broncos, a nice little surprise this season, even for me. Did I think that their defense would be leading the charge here? No, I didn't. I didn't think they would be this good. I thought that there would be an opportunity for them to be this good, but there was just a bunch of wait and sees. We didn't really know with these names. What's up, Fear Queen? How we doing? But Chargers visiting the Broncos. Chargers 3-point favorites. Total set at 35.5, so not super high. And then the Chargers -155 on the money line. Denver +130. This one is interesting, right? Chargers bye week. They're trying to get healthier. Obviously, we have some Justin Herbert health in question based off of he was still wearing a brace this past week. But what's up, Milwaukee's? How we doing? I just think that there's still just a lot of things that I question with the Chargers in this one. 3.5. This ticked down to 3, so I got a better number at 3.5. This is my best bet of the week. One of them, Broncos +3.5 at home. Division dogs at home, again, like I said, trends towards those teams. You want to take those division dogs at home more than not. But this one, it did feel weird because the line hasn't moved a ton. It just ticked down to 3 most recently. But
2.5, my friend.
Is it down 2.5? So I got a full.
Well, I have it a bet of the week at 2.5.
Oh, it did. Okay, so 2.5. So you got it. You got this one as well.
I got the right side.
I mean, it could land right in. It could land at 3.
We both could win.
We both could win. A last minute field goal to break a tie would both win us both this bet. let's thread the needle, Scotty. I struggle to see this offense, especially with a hobbled Chargers quarterback in Justin Herbert, with still a brace on, that this defense can't get after. This defense has been one of the best in the NFL, if not the best. They've been pressuring. They've been creating turnovers in the secondary. You had 2 interceptions by PS2 last week, one going for 100 yards. You have so much to get excited about. That's the defense is always going to be able to keep you in the game. Chargers love to run the ball. That's their new identity under Harbaugh as he's taken over and turned this into a running, grindy kind of a team like the Baltimore Ravens tend to be. And with the pressure coming at Herbert, I just think he's going to struggle a little bit in this one, trying to, if he stays upright, that's the best thing for him because he's too banged up for him to be taking any more hits. So I'm on Broncos plus 3.5. Also, Joey Bosa, might be coming back from injury. Will he be 100%? I don't know. But the Broncos offensive line has kept Bo Nix pretty clean for the most part this season. So I'm taking Broncos plus 3.5 in this one, Scotty.
Yeah, this is a really bad spot for Denver. You're coming off a few wins, coming back home, but you have a Chargers team that's still beat up, honestly, coming off their bye week. Shockingly beat up, but also coming off their bye. You have a Broncos team that, in my opinion, is a little fraudulent with the record, at least. The offense is still really bad. They've been fortunate to be 3-2. They get outgained yardage-wise by a lot in every game they play, basically. Of the season, but they've created turnovers. We'll see if they can continue to do that. But Harbaugh, I don't think is going to put the Chargers in a situation to give the Broncos a short field. And if they have to go the length of a football field, I don't know that they can do that very well. There's a reason the Chargers are favored in this game, even though the momentum seems to be with Denver. Both the left and right tackle who were out against the Chiefs 2 weeks ago for the Chargers, and Joe Alt and Rashawn Slater, were both back at practice in a limited capacity, but usually that means they're going to be back and playing. Herbert is limited, but he'll obviously play. They were without Derwin James due to suspension last game, and he'll obviously be back. Joey Bosa may not play in this game, but beyond that, they're beat up and hurt for sure. But, I think they're healthier than they've been in the last couple weeks, and they're coming off a bye week. They had a lot of time to prep for this game. I think Harbaugh is actually a better coach than Sean Payton. I think this is a great spot to bet on the Chargers. I got them at minus 2.5, so they just got to win by a field goal, and I feel pretty damn good about that.
This feels like a scoregami game. It could be. Fear Queen. I'm 2 former Oregon Duck quarterbacks going against each other. Yep,
That's true.
that's right. Absolutely.
Yep.
Should be fun. How about the Jamar Chase last week? He got me some massive points.
Yeah, he went off in a still losing effort, but he went off. Keep close. I'm betting with Scotty, and isn't he a Broncos fan?
Yeah.
He's been flip flopping.
He's-
He's been rooting for the Chiefs this year.
Yeah, he's been back and forth. Keep close. He's he also followed your bet the other night that your
and the other
live
thing I forgot to
bet the other
mention,
night too.
By the way, the Broncos are headed to a Thursday night matchup in New Orleans after this. So again,
Look ahead.
short week. look ahead.
That's going to be a shitty game. Denver. New
It
Orleans.
sounds like
It's-
Carr won't play in that game. So that's
Carr's out
a nice little
for
break.
a while.
Nice
for a
little
couple
break.
weeks. Be Spencer Rattler, the rookie.
We're gonna get to that in a little bit. So yeah, we're both on different sides. We both got different numbers. Am I not allowed to support my friends?
No, you're not.
Not when
Who are
it
your friends?
It depends. There's a lot of factors that go into how you support your friends and the details of that support of your friends. But generally, yeah, you support your friends. That's fine. All right, let's get to Steelers and Raiders in this one. The Raiders hosting the Steelers. Pittsburgh are 3-point favorites on the road. Another home dog here, Scotty. is the Raiders as they host the Steelers. 36.5 is the over-under. Total in this one, Pittsburgh minus 155 on the money line. Actually, let's go to Rec. Rec. Good night, Fear Queen. I'll be uploading this to YouTube, so make sure you check out the rest of the show if you can't
Thanks for
hang
hopping
out.
in, Fear Queen.
Yeah,
Appreciate
absolutely. Rec. What are your thoughts on your boys, the Steelers, visiting the Raiders?
The injury-wise, the Steelers are absolutely wrecked at this point. Still down passing. Warren's trying to come back. We'll see. Edge rusher, we only have 2 healthy guys at that position. With those injuries all over the place, it's not good. Although with like the morale very low, this is about the time where the Steelers just kind of remind teams that they're actually pretty good and just put it being like I'm really torn because again, on one hand, Steelers could just come out of this little funk and put it to the Raiders, but on the other end, this is also another one of those games where the Steelers would just kind of like not take it too seriously and then get embarrassed by a team they really shouldn't. The Raiders benched their quarterback. Gardner's not playing this week. It's going to be Aiden O'Connell. Devontae Adams also won't play because he's looking to be traded, although they're still calling it a hammy. I mean, it sounds like Fields will still be the starter, even though Russ is finally practicing at a full capacity. So this seems like it will be like Fields' chance to try and prove like that he's the full-time starter and that Russ should stay on the bench. It's either going to be domination on the Steelers' end or another frustrating game where everything goes wrong and they get bailed out by a couple of good plays.
I will say on the Pittsburgh side, there's a couple things that I don't like. One, some of the injuries, things along those lines. Steelers on the road as a favorite is not a good spot for them. Mike Tomlin is the head coach as a favorite on the road, 33-41-2 against the spread, versus 60% as a road dog. So he's a lot better on the road when they're underdogs. Going into a Raiders team that has a change at quarterback. I mean, Aiden O'Connell, he was serviceable. I don't know if he's going to be like the guy. He's going to go crazy by any means, but he can do some things. It's not for me. I don't know if I could. I'm staying away from this game, obviously, because I don't feel one way or another on this one. But I don't know. Raiders. This is going to be a super close game. I don't expect both these teams to score very high in this one. What's the over under total? Is it still at
36.5?
Is it still there? Let me double check. It's still 36.5. So yeah, I would lean Raiders. I don't feel confident in it though.
I too would lean Raiders. I mean, you have a matchup. You have like one of the best defensive edge rushers in the game, and then on the other side you have T.J. Watt. Both pretty good, but one elite and one is T.J. Watt.
And the other one is generational. I'm glad we cleared that up.
But I don't think Aiden O'Connell is like a downgrade by any stretch of the imagination from Minshew. And if anything, when you trade, just like coaching situations, you get an uptick in play the week after. I know they're not going to be with Devontae. The week after, like a QB change is another time where like your team kind of steps up and shows out because they're excited for the opportunity to play with a new quarterback. And the Steelers, I'm not sure. Listen, the Raiders should have been up 17 to probably 3. They should have been up 2 touchdowns at half against Denver last week. And a regrettable pick 6 from Minshew changed the tide of that game completely. Instead of 17-3, they were then down 3 at half instead of being up 2 touchdowns. So that changed a lot. Do I think the Raiders are that good? No. Can I bet on the Steelers on the road by when they're favored by a field goal or more? No. So this one's gonna come down to the wire. Rec talks like, oh, if they lose this game, what a total choke. We're so much better. You're 3-point favorites. I don't know that you're so much better. And yeah, you have quarterback issues. You have wide receiver issues. You have
Injury issues.
Yeah, there's only one team that doesn't make excuses about injuries, so you can make them.
Yeah.
Other teams lose their number 1 wideout, number 2 wideout, starting running back, and they just put up like 500 yards against the Saints. That's
against
a
team with no quarterback.
What?
Against a team missing his quarterback. Derek Carr going out.
Derek Carr went out with like 5 minutes left in the game. He missed one series. But thank you. But Derek Carr also didn't give up 500 yards to a bunch of nobodies on the Chiefs offense, so I don't know what we're referencing there. Anyway, I'm not betting this one. I'm not in love with either team, but
not betting is the right move.
Yeah.
Stay away. Sometimes the best bet is the one you don't choose to make.
It's going to be a bad game, especially with both head coaches being the same, just rah-rah guys that don't provide anything else.
The Raiders they're already getting fed up with their head coach. So, I mean, there's already rumors swirling around the Raiders.
And at very least, this is a very good week for our GM to talk with their GM and get a deal done for Davante Adams.
I don't think Davante is going to want to go to you guys. I'll be back.
Yeah. So let's get to the chat. Gardner will be eating nose flower seeds from the sideline. Raiders have no run game. What happened to that white guy, Zach
Who's
White? Zach White, I think, or no?
No,
Zamir White. That's what it was. Zamir White. Yeah. Well, Zamir White, where is he now? Is he still?
He's in Vegas.
Is he still with Vegas? I thought he was on another. I don't know. I don't know why I thought he's on somewhere else. But, anyways, yeah. This is. I still come back. If there's one thing that tends in Steeler games to be true, it's always that Tomlin stat of road favorite versus road dog, and like the difference in how it's kind of like what we talk about with like the Browns and the home road splits, or some of these other teams that just are really really good in one particular type of scenario versus another, indoor versus outdoor for Jared Goff in Detroit. You take him outdoors and you always tend to see him struggle a little bit as opposed to being in a controlled environment. I put the Tomlin stat right in there with it, like with those others. It seems to be reliable. It seems to be like one of those things that always tends to be true.
Yeah. Tomlin blowing winnable games is a very reliable thing.
So anyways, yes, we have some interesting things there. All right. We'll get to 49ers Seahawks here once Scotty gets back. But let me go ahead. Let me check. How are the Avs doing, by the way? Avs?
Oh, you're down 3-1 at the end of the first.
Cool. Love that.
Georgie is the Georgie you see in the playoffs.
3-1 Golden Knights. Cool.
Yeah, the Avs outshot them in the first period, and they're down 3-1. Although I will say the next 2 goals were breakdowns defensively and not necessarily Georgie's fault. They were good goals. It would have been an epic save. It'd be nice for him to make some of those sometimes, but still, it was more a breakdown on defense than Georgie.
Yeah,
for those 2. The first one was complete ass.
All right, well, let's get to the next game here. We have the 49ers visiting the Seattle Seahawks. This game is favored. San Francisco 49ers are favored on the road in Seattle. 3.5 is the spread in this one. over under total set to 47.5. And San Francisco, 185, minus 185 on the money line. Scott, you want to go first? You want me to run in on this one?
You like this one. Go ahead.
I do like this one. This is one of my best bets of the week, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going 49ers minus 3.5. This is just a matchup for the 49ers that I just think that they're just going to be in a great, great spot. I feel like this is a must win for them, knowing that they have Kansas City and Dallas coming up. So if they can get a nice win here with Seattle, they should be in a good spot. Seattle, on the other hand, is a team that, started out kind of inflated. Everyone was like, oh man, this team 3-0. They beat the Bo Nix making his NFL debut, Jacoby Brissett and Skylar Thompson. Meanwhile, after that, Jared Goff, Daniel Jones combined for 41 of 52 throws with 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. So, hey. Welcome in, Joe. How you doing?
Voltaire with the Shaq shimmy.
Voltaire.
My face.
Yeah. What's up, guys? Hey, go follow Joe if you're not already. Shout out to Joe in the chat. He's always on. Go check him out. Always putting out great content. Voltaire, how we doing? Oh, the 49ers my team. You're lucky that you got the Seahawks this week because I'm high on your boys, Voltaire. So my other team is whooping on some San Diego ass. Dodgers. So like I was saying, I think this is a brutal spot for the Seahawks. They played Monday Night Football just 2 weeks ago and now must quickly turn around for a short week Thursday night game. They have some injuries they're battling through. San Francisco running the ball effectively still. Brock Purdy has a 109.2 passer rating versus Seattle. 49ers have won 5 straight times over the Seahawks, and they'll do it again. I think this is a spot where you love the 49ers. They're 10-5-1 against the spread against the NFC West on the road since 2019. Seattle's 6-9 at home in the division over that span, and just 4-5-2 against the spread at home since the start of 2023. So there's a lot to love. The numbers say San Francisco. The eyeball test says San Francisco. This is a great spot for me. I think I'm going to love what I see by the 49ers after this game is all said and done. Let me double check, make sure this line hasn't changed much else. Sometimes they shift on me.
To be clear, the eyeball test says San Francisco, even though they've lost 3 of their last 4.
Yeah, but they're getting healthier, obviously, too. And they're getting up to speed. Yeah. They're getting up to speed. Yeah.
Okay. Listen, I think the 49ers I'm not eliminating them. They're still going to be in the mix down the road to be in the Super Bowl, represent, but they are 2-3, and we can't ignore that fully. I mean, and one of their wins was against the Patriots. So does that count? I don't know. They lost to a Rams team that's the Rams' only win of the year. They lost to a Cardinals team that has now 2 wins on the year. They're 1-3 outside of that game. So 2 of the 3 losses, they lost to the Vikings as well, who obviously are 5-0. But 2 of the 3 losses don't look great. Now you look at the analytics side of the offense, it looks great. They're running the ball effectively. Brock Purdy's been effective passing the ball, but somehow it just doesn't piece together to put up that thing called points. So maybe they explode this week. You have a Seahawks team that should be probably pretty embarrassed after last week's performance against the Giants. And maybe should be able to move the ball a bit in this short week against the 49ers defense that hasn't probably lived up to what we saw at least last year from the 49ers defensively, being one of the best in the league. And they, again, could get there, but right now they're not there. All that being said, I'd probably lean your way, Chris. I'd probably lean San Francisco minus 3.5 in this one. But I don't have a bet on it. I don't have a great feel. Hopefully tomorrow night's an entertaining game.
It's going to be hard to top last week's Thursday night.
It's not going to be last week's Thursday night.
I don't think we're going to
It's
get
not.
one of those again.
That one was epic. My buddy said like he had a friend they golfed with the next day. He's like, who said it was the best best football game we've ever seen. And I'm like, that's impressive. Keep close. I'm betting with Scotty. Well, I'm not even betting on this game, so I don't know.
But you're betting with me because Scotty's leaning my way. So technically,
I lean 49ers. I think even though the 49ers have a lot of, I mean, listen, after this game, Chris, listen to the 49ers. This is a Thursday night, which probably helps them a little bit. They got Chiefs, Cowboys, at the Bucks, home against the Seahawks, at Packers, at Bills.
That's a stretch. That's a heavy stretch.
That's nothing. And 2 and 3. So you need this one for sure. Hey, Avs scored. Cut it to 3-2. Let's go.
Goaltending not bound.
Chairman, is Kittle playing?
He should. He played last week.
He's questionable, but I think he's going to play. I have him in my fantasy lineup, so we better step it up, man.
In the chat, we got Joe. I'm trying to get blocked by Brown's Twitter, reminding him of the massage places around my office. There you go. That's fine.
There are no Browns fans here, so
no.
You
I would
won't
say
get blocked
this
in
is
chat.
it. I say this knowing they went 0-16 many years ago. This is the worst time to be a Browns fan ever.
I mean, the Browns. Have you seen everyone's? I mean, the worst transaction in NFL in sports history. Not to mention just NFL. Like the numbers are staggering. The numbers are insane. 100. Like when we were talking about like 38 million for the Broncos with Russ, 40 million in cap hit, dead money. We're just like screwed with. I'm like, man, that's a lot. That's insurmountable. It's 170. What is it? 174 million. Like
it's fully guaranteed, and they keep restructuring.
Let's keep in mind, depending on how badly they do this season. Let's say they're faced with the opportunity to get the number 1 pick in the draft next year. There might be teams out there because I think it was Nick Wright, but maybe it was someone else.
I think I heard the same thing.
Brought up the idea of like they will trade their first round pick because it's going to be high. It's going to be very, very high, along with Deshaun Watson, so they carry the baggage of that money to offload that and compete. Which I don't know where the Browns are competing. To be clear.
I mean, what they compete
They
with
shouldn't
Flacco.
do this. They shouldn't do this. But if they think they can like get in a competing window if they just offload this money. There are teams that might be out there that would do it, and I would do it in a second. If I'm like Carolina or like some team that's not close, why would I not get myself 2 like top 5 picks on the draft to invest in? Yeah, eat that money with Deshaun Watson for a year that you're not competing anyway.
Yeah, if you have the cap
And
space.
Yeah, if you have a ton of cap space, and then just move on from that and build out a roster. Like, to me, it makes perfect sense.
It's not that easy though, because there is a lot of void years on it too. Checking exactly. Let's see. So it's like, so after 2026, when his contract expires, there's still it's not bad. Still $27 million cap hit when he's off the team.
It's
We still have to for him for 2025, 2026, and then the 27 million for 2027.
That's correct.
Do you know Burrow is 1-5 all time against the Browns?
Yeah, the Browns own him.
OHIO.
It's my quarterback.
Cincinnati's in Ohio, so I don't know what that cheer means. Chris, inevitably the Avs, by the way, cut it to 3-2, and then Golden Knights.
I did see that.
Shoot at the goal again, and they get a goal because
Do we have an empty? Is there an empty net? Do we pull our goalie and they just have free reign?
it's pretty close.
It seems that way. All right. Well,
But don't give up hope. Like, I think the defending champs are down like 4-0 against Winnipeg tonight. So
No, I think you forgot which team won.
Speaking of Cleveland,
oh, I'm sorry, the defending Western Conference champions. I'm sorry, you're correct.
Yeah.
speaking of
Florida
Cleveland,
won.
go Tigers. Russ was a full participant at practice today. There you go. All right.
Chairman, good to know you still have power. I was worried because of the hurricane going on in Florida that Detroit might.
Roger.
You're still good. Are you safe? You're good.
Yeah. We need one of
Everything's
those.
okay?
We need one of those like markers that's like I'm
Report
okay.
yourself
Report
as
yourself.
safe.
Yeah. We need one of those.
Yeah.
Report yourself
Blink
as
twice.
having
Which doesn't
internet.
work if you don't have power.
Yeah.
But you know,
It's true. It's true. All right, let's get to this Tampa Bay New Orleans game.
And this graphic is already outdated.
It's already outdated. Well, it's not because that's a hurt.
He's
That's
hurt.
a
Look at
hurt
him.
Derek Carr.
look at him. That's a hurt Derek Carr.
Um,
It's not outdated. That's perfect.
we have the Tampa Bay Buccaneers here who are on the road this week against the New Orleans Saints. Tampa Bay 2-point favorites on the road.
That line has changed though.
Yeah,
To be fair,
It's 2.5,
I made these lines
right?
yesterday. Is it just
Yeah,
2.5?
Yeah, I was thinking it was like 3 now. It's like 2.5 for the Saints, and now it's like 2.5, 3 for Tampa.
Now
2.5
it's
for
3.5.
Tampa Bay.
It's 3.5 for Tampa Bay. So this ticked up quite a bit.
That's what I thought.
Tampa Bay minus 3.5. I got this before everything was announced. I liked it anyway. At 2.5, I think is where I got it. So this is one of my best bets of the week. This was pretty much strictly I think there's a question Derek Carr might not play. I'm going to go ahead and take this because if it does end up moving based off of him being out, I'm going to get the better number. So I got it at 2.5. And I still like this number. I think the Saints team total, by the way, the New Orleans team total under 21.5 is also a play that I like a little bit as well because I just don't see Spencer Rattler coming in and lighting up the scoreboard by any means. New Orleans has kind of fallen back down to earth based off of what they were doing their first couple weeks. Now they have an injury. They throw in a young kid at quarterback, Spencer Rattler. I struggle to see them playing a game that's going to be putting up a ton of points against this Tampa Bay team. Baker. By the way, did you see? I don't know if you guys saw the Baker Mayfield undercover skit that he did. Eli Manning did it for Thursday Night Football or whatever, and pretty entertaining. It was pretty entertaining. But I got Bucks. Best bet of the week minus 2.5.
And you're sure it's Spencer? Is it officially been
It,
announced? I haven't.
it's been officially announced. Spencer Rattler is the quarterback over Jake
'Cause
Hayner.
he was not the one that came in, obviously, at the end of that game, which makes sense. You don't want to throw in like a rookie QB in the last 5 minutes down a couple scores for no reason. But yeah, like hard to project what it's gonna look like offensively for the Saints, and you would expect the Bucks to take care of business here. And obviously, the line's moved a decent amount across the line. You know, the number 3 is kind of unheard of. And it sounds like Carr's out at least 2 weeks, if not more. So we'll see what Spencer Rattler has to show for himself. From a Bucks vantage point, team that I would say, just like you said about the Saints, is kind of fading from. They've been fine. I struggle to believe in the Bucks, but I mean, you can't not bet. You can't bet on the Saints this week. A short week with a rookie QB making his first start.
Such a bad
not
spot.
Not a high profile rookie QB, like a. When was he taken? Like
fifth
the
round,
fourth round,
fifth round.
Okay.
Fun fact:
so-
after Bo Nix, he was the next quarterback selected.
5th round, 15th
Yeah, well, that just proves how
pick in the
much
5th
of a
round.
reach Bo Nix was. But that I digress with that. Yeah, I
Dodgers are up 8-0 now.
Tampa.
That game's over.
Is there any chance that players from Tampa are focusing their minds on what's going on back home? Like their families in jeopardy, or like they're worried about their houses, or they're not focused? That's my one concern with Tampa.
I saw something recently where they're like, we're playing for something more this week.
Kind of using motivation.
They did have they did have the mini bye week after giving up 500 to Atlanta, 500 yards
in the air. That's not including
the rest of the.
They do have they had an extended week where the Saints are coming off a short week off Monday night, so big advantage to Tampa there. Tampa's should be the right side. Literally, if there wasn't a hurricane hitting Tampa, I would bet Tampa. But I'm concerned, and I know they're going to say the right things, but like mentally, even if all they probably know all their family's safe. I'm sure all their family's cleared out, but you still have property there. You still have your livelihood there. It's hard to eliminate that from your thought process.
Kind of unrelated, but Raymond James Stadium, the Tropicana Field in Tampa, the roof just came off completely.
Well, no one's ever been there before anyway, so it's okay.
Aren't the Bucks currently losing 27-3 to literally just some rain?
Yeah.
I mean,
I'd say it's a little bit more than rain.
A little wind maybe too.
I need to catch up on it, but I was expecting this to be the storm of the century, and I don't know. Has it been that yet?
It was supposed to be. It's Category 5 as it crossed the Gulf, and then it was supposed to hit like 4. As
it dropped to 3.
3 is where it was projected to be when it made landfall in Tampa. So
this was hyped as like the storm of all storms, and I'm not sure it's gonna reach,
hype.
Which is great. Like I'm happy that it's not gonna reach that.
It's obviously. A good thing.
Yeah, I'd say like Helene was probably closer to the storm of the century.
But also these people that like are like, I'm not fucking leaving, are crazy. If I heard a hurricane was coming in a location that I lived, I would be out of there in a nanosecond. I'm like, I'm not staying for that shit. No way. It hails outside here, and I'm like, I don't know if I'm gonna live through this.
Yeah, I mean, the flooding is crazy. I mean, we saw the flooding from Helene over the I would expect flooding all over the place in Tampa. It's gonna be wild. So I'm sure, even with that,
the hurricane has spawned tornadoes.
That's another terrifying aspect of hurricanes, by the way. The fact that you could have a hurricane and tornadoes all in the same kind of storm. No shot.
And I've also saw something recently that there's a chance that tsunami hits Tampa.
What?
Tsunamis aren't allowed to hit Tampa by rule.
Tell that to the fucking water.
Tell that. Go talk to the water, Scotty. Tell them you don't.
I'm familiar with the Gulf Coast, so I will definitely talk to the water, and they'll be like, I'm like Moana of the Gulf Coast.
Staring at the edge of the water. Yeah. Sharknado probably just went. Sharknado. Alligators are popping up all over the place in people's house. I mean, it's why. Hey, go stay safe out there. If you're in Florida, stay safe.
So tsunamis require an earthquake, Rec. Yeah, like I have questions about what you just said, Rec, but it's fine.
Tropicana Field has a hole in the roof, and it's someone said that it was a. What did they say? It was a evacuation shelter as well.
By the way, why are they building a new stadium in Tampa?
I don't know.
Why? Like, what are we just investing in a area that doesn't care? I don't understand it. It's bizarre to me.
Or like Miami. It's like
anyway. The stadium's the problem because it's been around for like 30 years. Maybe just people don't care. I don't know.
I mean, Miami people don't go there for people don't go there for sports, right? I mean, look at the Marlins. Look at the. I mean, the Rays, baseball. I mean, no one goes to baseball games. Someone was talking about the Nuggets had their open house the other last week. They were asking, "Oh, what's the best fan base to play in front of and the worst?" Miami was the answer for Christian Brown. He was like, Miami. There's nothing they don't even show up to games. It's like, I don't know. It's weird. But anyways,
You got shit to do.
Shout out. Yeah, people are on the beach enjoying it. There's a 32% chance of Sharknado. Kind of. All right, let's get to
official. Yeah.
Let's get to the Commanders at Ravens. Commanders, who have had a fantastic start to their season, are visiting Baltimore in what looks to be one of the best games of the weekend. Baltimore 6.5-point favorites, believe it or not, given the fact that Commanders have been playing out of their minds. Total set at 52.5 in this one. Scotty, this to me shouts a shootout. This to me feels like there's going to be 1,000,000 points scored in this game. There's some things that to like on both sides. I mean, if I had any bet in this game, I don't have one. It would be the over, even 52.5. Commanders O-line, top 5 in pass blocking. Ravens are bottom 3rd in coverage, which is why Burrow could throw as much as he threw on them. I don't know. This just seems to be, you have a Commanders offense that can put up points. You have a Ravens offense who defense is going to be giving up a ton. Ravens can also put up points themselves. I mean, Ravens games are averaging what? I think I saw a stat. Something like Ravens are putting up more points. Washington's putting up the 3rd most points. Baltimore has the 2nd worst pass defense in the NFL, facing an elite team. I just offensively, this seems smash the over. I'm with you, Sergeant. You know what's interesting though? A lot of pros seem to be on the Ravens. A lot of the public seems to be on the Commanders at plus 6.5.
And when I bet this as one of my bets of the week, I expected that. But sometimes they're wrong, Chris. Just to be clear, the pros only hit at less than 60%.
Mhm.
So they're wrong a lot. And I don't understand this line. I really, really don't.
It's a weird line. I would be on the public side, to be honest, if I had a big side.
Yeah. You have a Ravens team that's been nice, but literally they should have lost last week. They should have lost, which would make them 2-3. Okay. You have a Commanders team with a rookie quarterback that's won 4 straight and looked really, really good doing it, especially the last 3. They've scored more points than the Ravens this year. By the way, they've given up less points than the Ravens this year. We can talk about opposition all you want. You have a matchup of quarterbacks where the better one is the road team. I'm ready to say that Jaden Daniels is leaps and bounds going to have a better career than Lamar Jackson.
Do you think Jaden wins a ring?
He has a better chance.
I think Jaden wins a ring.
He has a better chance for sure.
I do. Does he win 2 MVPs? I don't know for sure. But Lamar didn't. Not that he didn't deserve them, but they're like empty. They're going to be empty when he never wins anything in the playoffs. It's going to feel a little empty for Lamar. And that's just a reality of the situation. So I think Jaden Daniels is certainly a better thrower of the football. Lamar's a better runner of the football. Obviously, Jaden's pretty good at that too. But Lamar's certainly better at that. I don't know why people are hyping this Baltimore team so much. Everyone I talk to is like they're the most talented team in the league. They're this and that. And I'm like, what am I missing? Through 5 games, they've a 21 point differential. They literally should have lost last week again to the Bengals. With a good snap and hold, they lose that game to be 2-3. And I know a lot of those have been close games, but like, why are we just making them out to just be these world beaters that they're not? And I knew this was a trap. I'm like, I knew the public would be on Washington in this game, but I'm just it just made so little sense to me on why this number 6.5 that I was offended by it, and I might be wrong. The Ravens just might curb stomp, and maybe this is like finally the Commanders like let down week where they kind of scale back and they're just not with it. But like, it's not like this is a long road trip. Okay, they're next to each other. This is a hop, skip, and a jump. It's almost like a home game for the Commanders. In a sense of like, you're not traveling far. Why is this 6.5? This has no reason to be 6.5. And that's why I had to pull the trigger on the Commanders.
So one note, the Ravens against NFC, or specifically Lamar against NFC teams in his career, has only lost once, and usually they do curb stomp NFC teams. So I guess that's probably why it's 6.5.
That is true. I'm familiar with that stat. So yeah.
You know what's weirdly enough, I just checked the live over under total. It dropped to 51.5, and I love it even more. It's crazy. Ravens games are averaging 57 points, highest in the league. Washington games are averaging 54 points, and that is the third highest. Lamar Jackson, 28 plus and 3 in a row. Defense allowing 25 plus in 4 of the last 5 games. Teams combined to go 8-2 over the season in the over. So there's just one bet in this game alongside Scotty's. Obviously, Scotty's got his Commanders plus 6.5 as one of his best bets, but I don't know why. This is maybe another best bet for me on the side. Over 51.5. Lock it. Did we get a score, Scotty?
Avs got a goal to cut it to 4-3. It's frustrating to see, like when I'm watching this game a little bit, that the Golden Knights have 4 goals on 14 shots on goal. That's
error 404. Defense not found.
It's not
seriously.
The Avs have 3 goals on 22 shots, which is actually not a great save percentage on that end, but 4 on 14 is unheard of.
And typically, you want around like 1 goal on 10 shots. That's pretty soft for a goalie.
Yeah. All right. Well, there you go, guys. Those are the best games of the week that we are going to keep an eye on. Let's go take a look at our best bets and see where things are all finalized here. Don't forget. Hold on. Give me a sec here, because that is not accurate. All right. Let's go ahead and take a look. All right. Scotty, run yours down. I think there's one game we did not cover, I believe.
Yeah, it talks about Chargers, Giants, and Washington. Philly -9. I almost never take a favorite.
It's a big favorite.
Big number. This is how much I don't believe in the Cleveland Browns. Philly coming off a bye, 9-point favorites at home after a bad loss where like Philly hasn't looked great thus far. I mean, they got embarrassed 2 weeks ago against the Bucks. So like I think they show up here, and I think the Browns are just
trash
at this point. Like
the Browns is the Browns.
As long as Deshaun Watson is quarterback there, they're not heading in any direction, and I think the players on the team feel it, and they don't play up to their standards. They're going nowhere. Philly's defensive line has been solid where they're going to create some sacks and turnovers, and I think even if Philly's not fully healthy at the wide receiver spot, I really think they're just they have to win that game by double digits against a bad Browns team that's given up already.
The Browns are just they're in such a bad spot. Like, you know, it's kind of like any other team where it's like, oh, well, they might have their spots where they can compete and everything, might go their way against certain matchups or certain situations. I just don't
can't
think that
believe
that's
they
the
have a
case.
win. I can't believe they beat the Jags. That's shocking to me.
That just shows you how bad Jacksonville is.
Well, and the problem is like
Jacksonville's much better than the Browns, though.
oh, yes, 100%.
Leaps and bounds better than the Browns.
I will say, though, they're in a predicament with Deshaun Watson. Are they going to swallow the pill and bench him? Because they said they won't. They said he's our guy. So you
But they
either
probably don't really have a choice.
you're damned if you do, damned if you don't. I mean, honestly, Jameis Winston, in my opinion, gives them a better chance to win.
At the very least, he's likable.
At the very least, he could put up some points. I don't care if he's turning over the ball in the same caliber of what he's putting up on the offensive side. It's just you can't. They're in a bad spot. They're in a really bad spot.
I almost wonder if this is like coming from the owner, where it's like they have to keep him in to try and justify this. Because again, like once they admit that Watson was a mistake, there's no chance the GM sticks around.
Oof.
Like, yep, we messed up. Yep, you made the worst trade ever. You're fired.
This is the literal worst
I think
trade.
everyone in the world knows it's a mistake, so just admit it
Yeah.
now and move on. Cuban, 3 short things: death, taxes, and Scotty saying the Ravens are overrated.
I mean, he is right on this one.
Fair.
Roger.
Yeah.
Although I will say regular season Ravens are different than postseason Ravens.
Yeah.
So I don't always fade regular season Ravens. I just always fade
Postseason.
postseason Ravens.
It's always a guarantee.
But this week I am fading. Well, I just think the Commanders are pretty damn good. Why are the Ravens 6.5 against a Commanders team that's balled out the last 4 weeks?
It's kind of like anything else. It's like the Vikings. It's like this Washington team. It's like you keep like jumping on the trends of the luck's gonna run out. It's eventually gonna be over, and yet you bet against them, and then they torch you. And it's like I don't think the train's off. The train's still rolling down the tracks. I think they still have some time before things start slowing down. Cuban, they are sticking with Watson until the bitter, happy ending.
There's not going to be a happy ending. But maybe for Watson there is.
The Browns.
But I hope not. I hope not.
Just for all you fans out there, for all of whatever team you like, just if you're ever having a bad day or having a rough go, just say it could be worse. We could be the Cleveland Browns. I could be a Browns fan. Like it always could be worse. So just take solace in that. All right. So that is what we got for Scotty. I have Tampa Bay -2.5. I have we covered all these, so I'm just going to rattle through them. Tampa Bay -2.5, New York Giants +3.5, San Francisco -3.5, and Denver +3.5. A lot of 3.5s. That was the trend for me this week, I guess.
I'm going against you on one of these bets.
What do you get?
And I'm with you on another.
What are your bets this week, Greg?
I got Tampa Bay -2.
Okay,
I got Seattle +3.5. Division game, short week at home. I don't think it's going to be like some sort of blowout. It's probably going to be a close game. You give me 3.5 in divisional round. Of course, I'm taking that. I got the Bears -2.5. I've talked a lot about how I don't like Jacksonville. And then I have the Texans -7. I wasn't going to go there until the Patriots announced Drake May was starting. Like, I agree Texans haven't played as well, but as long as you get pressure, you should win without a problem.
I think they're going to be better off with Drake May in this game, at least for the first game. I mean, Jacoby Brissett wasn't scoring, so maybe it doesn't matter who the quarterback is for the Patriots.
I mean, that team, that is one of the least talented teams in the league. Like, you got
For
Christian
sure.
Gonzalez and Jalen
sure.
Polk.
There's not a lot. It's an empty team of talent, no doubt about it. Like,
But just thinking, like, you stick with
probably,
Brissett, so
along with Carolina, the least talented team in the league.
yeah, I just figure you stick with Brissett, so that, like, he dies in the pocket and you save May while he learns on the bench.
Is he learning on the bench though? Is he? And eventually you got to pull the trigger. I don't know.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying.
I mean,
I have one more stat because Chris, and maybe it's just me because I get on Twitter and like there's a lot of rivalry between the Bengals and Chiefs for no reason. Because it's not really a rivalry, but all the Bengals fans are like, "Oh, Chiefs win because of their defense, and Burrow doesn't have any defense. He's balling out, and they're playing great, and he's just." Here's a fun thing. Burrow lost 16-10 in a game this season to the Patriots. Mahomes is 45-0. 45-0 when the Chiefs allow fewer than 19 points. So what I mean by that is go fuck yourselves.
Just take that and
Just a fun stat.
do with that
Yeah,
what
just
you
ignore
right there.
Yeah, just ignore what's happening in Vegas.
Did they score again?
With 13 seconds to go in the period.
well,
Probably the next shot on goal.
they were on the power play though,
Jeez.
weren't they? Weren't they on the power? Yeah, that
I
New England.
can't.
It's gonna be a rough.
I think they're not going to be very good this year.
No.
To be honest.
Yeah, I tried telling you all that in the offseason.
This is the over. What are they? It's overreaction Wednesday.
I don't want to overreact, but
Overreaction Wednesday of Game 1 of the Colorado Avalanche.
I'm off it.
I'm off
the
it.
bandwagon.
New
I don't
England,
think I was fully on, but
New England, Houston. From what I can tell, a lot of people are split on this game at 7. A lot of the 90% of the public is on the Texans. 81% of the money is on the Texans. A lot of money on the Texans.
I thought you said it was like split even, like 50-50.
No. I was saying like from like the people that I follow, some are picking New England +7, some are picking Houston -7. But when it comes to the actual money and the public, 80 to 90% of it all is coming in on Houston. So just do with that what you will as well.
I would, if I had to lean, I'd lean Patriots, but I wouldn't ever bet the Patriots.
No,
right now.
you don't want to sweat. You don't ever want to sweat out a 1-4 Patriots team to cover a 7-point spread. That just sounds like it's bad. It's bad. You don't want to do it. Leave it alone. I learned my lesson on sweating out bad teams last year with Carolina. I bet Carolina like 4 or 5 times last year, and it's the worst sweat you could have. I'm telling you.
My thing is, again, I think I brought it on Sunday. Houston is 4-1 with a -12 point differential in the season.
That's
They
wild.
won games by 2, 3, 4, and 6. And then they lost again by 27.
Interesting.
Are they great?
Interesting.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, that's going to do it for the show tonight.